Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Queen's Daily Bread. How y'all doing? Hopefully blessed and highly favored. Please like and subscribe to my channel so that you can get this encouragement on a regular basis. I try to upload videos every day and give you that bread from heaven, that word that you need to keep your spiritual man fed just as well as your physical man needs to be fed. Okay? So, today, I'm going to go over a scripture, First Thessalonians 2 and 18. And the caption is Satan hinders us. Now, I've already made a video regarding this topic. And it's crazy because when it came up, I read a devotional, right? So I don't have nothing to do with how it's selected or what's selected. Okay, so when I saw that it was a scripture that I've already made a video on, I said to myself, well, I already did a video on that. And Spirit of the Lord was like, yeah, but look at where you were then mentally, spiritually, even physically. Look at where you were then and look at where you are now. So it's going to be a totally different video. It's going to be the same topic. It's going to be the same scripture, but now my understanding has expanded. So how I view that topic in that scripture has changed completely. So let's get to it. First Thessalonians 2 and 18, right? Satan hindered us since the first hour in which goodness came into conflict with evil. It has never ceased to be true in spiritual experience that Satan hinders us. From all points of the compass, all along the line of battle, in the vanguard and in the rear, at the dawn of day and in the midnight hour, Satan hinders us. If we toil in the field, he seeks to break the plowshare. If we build a wall, he labors to cast down the stones. If we would serve God in suffering or in conflict, everywhere Satan hinders us. Now, when I read that initially, I understood that it was referring to whether it be your job, whether it be your family, whether it be different areas of your life. But I hadn't actually been hindered in all those areas of my life recently, so it didn't hit the same. After I made that video, I was tested in every area of my life with my social life, friends, frenemies, fake wannabes, my family life, my personal life, relationship wise, matters of the heart, my children, my health, my spiritual journey. Satan tried to hinder me at every turn. Do you hear me? Yep, that's what he did. So now it hit different. Now I can actually elaborate on it and convey what the scripture is not saying. Okay? That's what he's talking about. When he say no matter what, if I will serve God in suffering or in conflict everywhere, Satan hinders us. He hinders us when we are first coming to Jesus. Fierce conflicts we had with Satan when we first looked to the cross and lived. And now that we are saved, he endeavors to hinder the completeness of our personal character. You may be congratulating yourself, thinking, look how far I done came. Look how much I done changed. Look at all the work, the inner work, the shadow work, the um growing and ascending that I have done. Look at all I done did. You might be thinking that. And guess what he gonna do? Guess what he gonna do? He gonna come through telling you, mm. He said, you may be congratulating yourself. Satan will direct his engines against that very virtue for which you are most famous. Yeah. The very thing that you like was one of your greatest achievements or should have been your greatest achievement, that's where he gonna come hit you at. Yeah, that's where he's strategic in his attacks. I was talking to, I think it was my cousin, my brother, one of them, and we were discussing how Satan don't never just attack you. He don't never do that. He sit back and he study you first. Yeah, he's smart. He gets to know your strengths, your weaknesses, where you tend to add, and then he puts together a plan based on what he has learned from what you have told him, what you the information that you gave him. That's how he set you up. That's so you have to be aware of that. My mother, God rest her soul, it was recently her birthday too, August 3rd. Rest in peace, Gwendolyn Denise Coulter, gone but not forgotten. She passed away in 2009. So um, I've been missing her for a long time now, y'all. However, I carry her in my spirit. I carry her in my spirit so that even though I miss her, it's not as bad as it used to be. You know what I'm saying? But she used to always say, this is not a war against flesh and blood, y'all. This is a battle against spirits and principalities. The flesh and blood is just there to distract you, to have you in your feelings and off guard. But the actual battle is in the spiritual and it's based off principalities. Yep. And it's true. And as I get older and wiser, I realize that that's what she was talking about. Like, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. However, let me finish this word. Okay, so he said, if you have been hitherto a firm believer, your faith will ere long be attacked. If you have been meek as Moses, expect to be tempted to speak unadvisedly with your lips. The birds will peck at your ripest fruit, and the wild boar will dash its tusks at your choicest vines. Satan is sure to hinder us when we are earnest in prayer. See, that's another reason when you praying, he don't like that. He don't like that because God gonna answer your prayer. Yes, He is, especially if you bowing down on your knees and reverencing your Father in heaven the way that you're supposed to. When He hear you cry out, stuff gets to happening, baby. Yes, Lord, it does. In the spiritual realm, things get to moving and shifting in your behalf. So He want to try to shut your mouth up. He don't want you praying because prayer must be spoken word. Yeah, ain't no silent prayers. Prayer got to be spoken word to God, and it preferably quoting back them scriptures, putting Him in remembrance of the covenants and the scriptures that His word, what His word says, putting Him in remembrance of His word. That's what the word say. That's what the Bible say. To quote back scriptures to God when you're praying to Him, to let Him know you know what you're talking about. You know who you are, and you know your rights. You know your birthrights. And He has to keep His word. But He's not a man that He shall lie. That ain't how He get out. So Satan gonna try to shut you up so you don't get no help. Says, nor is Satan less vigilant of obstructing Christian effort. There was never a revival of religion without a revival of his opposition. As soon as Ezra and Nehemiah begin to labor, Sanballat and Tobiah are stirred up to hinder them. What then? We are not alarmed because Satan hinders us. No, for it is proof that we are on the Lord's side and are doing the Lord's work. And in His strength, We shall win the victory and triumph over our adversary. So, mm, again, I remember when I first read this and I felt like I had triumphed over so much. But now I realize that I still got so much to triumph over. And the same God that brought me through the first triumph is the same one that's gonna bring me through these next ones. But the difference is my next chapter is gonna be so much better than my last chapter, than my first chapter. Yeah, baby. Intentionally. On purpose. On purpose. Like, okay, let me just give y'all a tidbit of who I am. Who God created me to be. I had my son, my first child, at a very early age. And I decided at a very early age to give up me and focus on the child that I had brought into this world. As well as I always tried to be a good sister to my brothers and sisters too, because they was younger than me and they didn't have nobody like that. So I always put other people ahead of me. Always. Since I was like 13. Okay. It was never what Queen wanted. It was never what Queen thought was the best. It was what was best for everybody in Queen's life. Okay. And that's very burdensome and it can be heavy. But I'm thankful that I had that experience because it built me into who I am today. And I know I can. It's like I know I can do anything I put my mind to because I've had to do it forcefully. So now I know I can. However, I am beginning to live my life for myself, and it feels so good. It does. I've always been attached to a significant other. Um, just never really able to be free and be me without having to worry about anyone else. Now, mind you, I still got kids and I'm still raising. And of course, they're my priority. But what I'm saying is that I'm no longer making decisions based on what I feel is best for them or not like that, what's going to keep them happy, quote unquote, or what may be um, societal norms. I'm doing it based on what's making me happy and what make me feel good. Life is short, y'all. Life is really short. So life is teaching me that we don't have time to play. Like we don't have time to play around. We have to be intentional in all that we do. I told my nephew the other day, everything that I do has to have meaning behind it moving forward. It's not an option. I cannot participate or be a part of or give my energy and myself, my emotions, my money, my time, any of that to anything that mm, isn't meaningful and isn't beneficial. If not just for me, for my family, for those that I love, for those that's around me, if it's not conducive to everybody doing better, I don't want to be a part of it. Excuse me. And it took me a minute to get here, y'all. Like, I didn't just wake up this person. No, I did not. It took me I'm 37 years old. And I can honestly say that I've been on this spiritual journey for at least the past 4 years. All my life, really. Because when you look back at life, it's all a ripple. Everything that happened to you then is a part of who you are now. We all have the choice to either allow our past experiences to make us better or bitter. The choice is yours. So choose to let it make you better. Don't that make sense? Like if you're gonna go through something unfortunate or hurtful or abusive or traumatizing or whatever the case may be, if you went through something and it impacted your life in a profound way, then you now have the choice to say, okay, this is going to be a blessing or it's going to be a curse. Perception is everything, y'all. So I can see things so different now. And Satan hindering you means what? What did the word say? What did the word say? The word said Satan hindering you means you are on God's side. That's what it means. So don't let it discourage you. Take a deep breath. Just how I took that deep breath. Take a deep breath. Just let it go. Let it go. And let God and see what he do. Because his word says that he has blessings for you that are what? Beyond anything you can think or ask. So that means you can't even fathom the blessings that he has in store for you. You just gotta trust him and know that trouble don't last always. If you being hindered by Satan, one thing life has taught me, sometimes you hinder for your protection. That's true, y'all. Sometimes you will be hindered in something and you trying to hurry up and get there, and red light after red light after red light be catching you, and just all different kind of stuff will happen. But it don't be to irritate you or because you don't have favor. It's because you do have favor and you being protected from something that you don't even know about, from some danger, some drama, some extracurriculars, something that you didn't need to be a part of, so you got hindered. So don't always attribute all hindrance to Satan, because sometimes God allow his angels to hinder you also. That part. So know when you being hindered by who. That's why you gotta pray every day. So you can be in communion with your father so that he can tell you what's going on. And you don't be feeling like you left out in the cold. Like you're not aware of what's going on. You have to know what's going on in the spiritual. Yeah, in the spiritual. Y'all, it was so crazy. Okay, so I've always been like a little psychic, I guess, or intuitive. Let's say that. Intuitive. And recently I've been feeling like I don't trust my own judgment on certain things because I've had a few experiences lately that have just been real weird. Let's just say that. Real weird and real abnormal. Okay. So I haven't been trusting my intuition like that. I just been, praying and listening to God and listening to the word and listening to different messages from different people that I feel are anointed and called by God. And the next thing I know, I had like a channeling, like, I don't know, I was on my bed meditating by myself and a message came through and it was so clear and so specific, and it made me cry. It made me cry because I knew that wasn't me. The words that were coming out of my mouth was not me. And it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. At the end of the situation, it was absolutely beautiful. And it just changed the way I look at a lot of different things now. I just felt led to share that with y'all. So I did, because I ain't know nothing about all that. I've heard about it, And I've seen people who have been on point with certain things, like, how, ain't no way they could have knew that. Somebody had to tell them, spirit, somebody had to tell them. And the next thing you know, it happened to me. And when it happened to me, it was out the blue. I always trying to come here when I'm recording. How we're gonna delete that part. Anyway, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. However, when it happened, y'all, it tripped me out because, like I said, the words that came out were so specific and so, I don't know how to explain it, like dead on. Like I knew what was going on. I knew exactly what was going on, and it tripped me out because I was never taught about spiritual gifts like that as a child. Yeah, I knew there was prophets and people who could, you know, predict stuff and communicate with the spirit in tongue and different things like that. But channeling, like channeling somebody's whole thoughts and like a whole conversation from somebody else, I ain't know about that. But it happened. It's real. It really happened to me and it blew my socks off. I was like, okay. The message, again, like I said, the message was beautiful. It was something that I very valuable for me. I needed to hear it. But it was just mind blowing how it came through. So yeah. And I don't even talk about that because this is a different channel, but I was led to talk about it. Like for real. I felt the nudge to say something about it. So maybe somebody will resonate with it and understand that when God created us without limit, endless potential. The only limits that exist are the limits that we create ourselves or that we are programmed with. Those are the only ones that exist. So evidently somebody needed to hear that. And I'm sending you guys love and light. 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 Yes, love and light. Because it's all kind of heaviness around, like on the collective as a whole. We going through a lot. Let's just say that, a lot. So I'm sending y'all love and light on purpose. Praying that you have a blessed day, all day. And I'll probably see you tomorrow. Okay? Have a good one.